Hello and welcome back to another video here with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. Today we're looking at the Tycoon set, obtainable for gold pieces inside the Occult Crescent South Horn. You'll find these under the other section of Gold Piece Exchange. This is a 5-piece set that we're going to be looking at today, including tights, bootlets, dress gloves, leotard, and hairpin. So you might be asking yourself, how do you get gold pieces? Essentially what you want to do, if you want to, is set up a group. Join in with some of your friends if you've got some, or try and answer some of the shout chats. There's quite a few people recruiting for Gold Farm, where essentially you go around the Occult Crescent as a group and you defeat monsters repeatedly. Now there are optimal ways to do this. There are obviously Cannoneer strats, there is a tank strat. You can also solo gold if you want to. There's plenty of videos on YouTube showing you how to do that from various people, including people like Zane Lionheart, if you want to check out their guides. But yes, any way you do it, essentially farming this for a few hours will get you gold pieces from repeatedly defeating monsters. And essentially, when you have enough of them, in total, you do need to have 8,000 gold pieces to buy the full Tycoon set from Antiquarian NPC. And this is what that looks like. This then previewed on my character first. We'll look at some other race combinations, gender combinations, and full die previews. So it is a 5-piece set, like we said, with the hairpin / tiara type thing on the head. There's quite a lot of nice transparency on the actual chest piece, as you can see. And obviously this is designed to look a lot like Final Fantasy V's character Lena, Princess Lena, if you have played Final Fantasy V. And I quite like this. The way the outfit suits your character will likely differ depending, slightly, of course, on the gender of your character and what race they are. Obviously are, as you can see here, some examples of Lalafell here with a much shorter, squished version of the outfit. Looking pretty good. You'll be happy to know that unlike the previous outfit we looked at in a previous video, the Lick set, this particular outfit does not turn off tails. So if you're playing an Aura, a Mikote, a Rothgar, rest assured that you will have your tail clip out the back like it does on every other piece of fabric in the game, whether you like that or not. Looking pretty good then. Obviously we've got a little bit of clipping issues with hairstyle choices, less so with ears. I've noticed that regardless of what you have, if that be ears, pointy ears, or horns like on the Aura, the hairpin is in the right place just above that. It doesn't really clip that much. Hairstyles, however, you're going to have to pick something that has a little bit of exposure, a little bit of a shorter side hairstyle. Otherwise, it's going to clip quite badly into the hairstyle, but that's totally your choice. Looking pretty good on a variety of different races here. And of course, the ultimate choice is to get this on a male character. It does suit very differently, of course, because it's much closer to the chest, for example, because of, the lack of breasts here on this character. So it's a lot closer to it, but it's definitely a style that works and it's not gender locked. So if you do want to do this, you totally can do. You can just see there with the horns, the hairpin is much higher up the head than the horns, so for the majority of face options it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And here's a bit of an example close up then of the hairpin, of it clipping a little bit on one of the newer hairstyles. But on the other side, as you can see, it is quite a lovely hairpin though. I love the details, kind of like that pearl in the middle there with the spikes coming out, and it's got double dye across the entire thing. The back then, I absolutely love the transparency of that hood. It is beautiful. I do like it when they add transparency to outfits in this game. Ever since we saw the dancer set for Dawntrail, I've wanted more use of that, and I think this is a good set for Lena's outfit. I think they've done a good choice of pieces. I would like to see it more often though, maybe in more drapes and capes and things like that in the future. But yeah, this is a great start. It is a very nice set. And yeah, the gloves then are those little sort of finger wraps. As you can see, the actual chest piece has that sort of up to the wrist area. So bear that in mind. If you want to mix and match with other pieces of gear, you're going to have to make a allotment for that. They are asymmetric as well, with that kind of like beaded bracelet on one side but not on the other. And the actual gloves themselves are symmetrical as far as I can tell. Yeah, looking pretty good. We also have these fantastic tights. These are a big contender for replacing your 2B tights if you've got a type 2B leggings, obviously from Copied Factory. This is a great option, a different option. It doesn't seem to increase the size of your butt, though, like the 2B leggings, but they are really nice. That kind of fade between pink and white does disappear when you dye it, though, which is a little bit sad. The shoes are really nice, kind of like these high-heeled, spiked metallic shoes. They look pretty good. Very similar to the previous set, the Lick set, but instead of a full boot, we've got a shoe, and that's what the leggings look like without the chest piece and without those feet on. And I think you get a better example of what it looks like with that ornate detail on the metal suspenders for the actual kind of tanga at the top there, and these lovely tights coming down, and there's the shoes. Something I didn't immediately realize until I took everything else off was there's quite a lot of transparency behind the shoe as well, which is quite rare. We don't see that very often. It's got a kind of nice default blue color coming through. They are really, really nice, though. I can imagine a lot of people using these, and definitely, you know, being able to purchase specifically for 1600 gold pieces that you like rather than a full set is better than getting a coffer and having a set price. You know, but you can of course buy all of these pieces on the market board as well. It's not just with gold, so rest assured, if you don't want to touch the southern front, you do not have to. Looking really good though in combination, and yeah, let's go look at some dyes. As per usual in these videos, we're going to go one direction with one of the palettes and the second direction, the opposite direction, to give you a good example, showing off a lot of the newer dyes as well as the older dyes, or some of the main major colors, the stronger colors, which normally goes down pretty well. A lot of people have had their own requests for certain colors, so I've tried to include those as well. And I really love Carmine Red on pretty much anything that I dye on these days. Carmine Red mixed with Jet Black looks amazing. You'll notice that there are some elements of this that do not change color, mostly the ends of the fabric on the back, that kind of like cape, you know, the butt cape, I don't know what else you want to call it, a shawl. And then on the front there at the bottom of the dress, we've got that brass. So bear that in mind. If you're going to be mixing and matching with other pieces of gear to make your own glamour, you do have that brass color to try and work around. And of course that transparency, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what people come up with as a combination with the chest piece. It looks pretty good though. The dyes aren't too much to complain about. Like I say, that's the only thing I've got really, is that the brass bit doesn't change color, but again, without the ability to have 3 dye palettes, I don't think that would be necessarily possible. And it is also nice to have something to accent colors away from as well. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good in a variety of colors. Some colors combinations look awful, but that's the way it is. Yeah, honestly, I think they've done a pretty decent job of choosing the right parts to dye, and the standout parts for me are definitely the suspender / tights. I think that's the bits that most people will go and purchase immediately, and same with the shoes as well. Yeah, out of anything. The gloves, probably not so much. They're not too bad. They do have some nice mix and match potential. But if we actually have a look at how these dye separately, you'll see that the second palette there is that metallic suspender that's only on the front there. Looks pretty good. I can see a lot of people using this. In fact, I've seen a lot of people walk around with this as a direct replacement from their 2B leggings. There is a certain amount of transparency or faux transparency on those legs. And here's the hairpin as well, because it was kind of hard to see how it dyes from that frontal view. So just to give you an example, a really nice hairpin. But yeah, I think it's the chest piece mostly that's going to be difficult to match with, at least in my opinion. I do think these tights work with anything. Here you go with some of the type, I forget which type these are. These are the healing chest piece for one of the Neo raids combined with that. It looks really good. As you would imagine, I love the ability to change those suspenders. And of course, this can be stored as a singular item using the new outfit system, which is really nice. It does have its own limitations, i.e. not being able to dye and keep the dyes on each separate piece. But since my Glamour dresser is getting absolutely rammed with items this expansion, it does help. Anyway, let me know if you're going to get the Tycoon set. It's definitely worth farming some gold coins for, but there are a lot of other things to spend gold coins on, admittedly, and it probably will be the last thing on your list, but don't despair. You can spend gil on it if you want to, and the market should come down, but at the minute it is a good source of making gil, buying some of these set pieces, and selling them on the market board. Much love. Have a fantastic day. Hopefully you're enjoying Occult Crescent as much as I am, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.